What's up, everybody? Welcome in to A to Z Sports Picks. I'm your host, Alan Bell, alongside of the man, Brian Edwards. Looking good, buddy. How we doing?
Oh, right on, Alan. You the man. I am without my readers today, so please forgive me if I'm making less eye contact with you and looking at my bigger screen more often. But other than without my readers, I'm good to go.
Hey, you know what? No eye contact necessary here, and we're getting it all from that big brain of yours right there. Everybody, welcome in A to Z Sports Picks. I'm Alan Bell, CBS Sportsline, alongside Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. A to Z Sports Picks is brought to you every Tuesday and Friday by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. New users, make sure to download that BetMGM app. Do it right now. Use promo code A to Z200. That's ATOZ200. You put a $10 moneyline wager on any NBA team tonight, you will win $200 if they hit a three-pointer. That's it. Hit a three-pointer, $200. Doesn't get any easier than that. That's BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older. Must be present in the state of Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. All right, Brian. So, usually on a Friday show, we're setting and putting everything locked in for the college and NFL games for the weekend. Well, we don't have any of those. Super Bowl coming next week, right? So we're still in building mode, all right? So I want to somewhat emulate the process of what we normally do through the week, and we're just going to continue on to that. Sound good?
Yep,
perfect. All right, everybody out there, it'll make sense in 1 second. So first, let's take a look at the game, okay? We haven't seen any line movement. I haven't seen anything since, Tuesday. Rams, 4.5-point favorite, a total of 48.5. Now, none of us had an official pick yet on the game on Tuesday. I put out that I like the first half under 23.5. So, Brian, I throw it back to you. What are your thoughts here? Have you made anything, locked anything in yet? Looking at anything? Break it down. What do you got?
Yeah, I've decided I'm going to go with the Bengals, just out of my just love of Joe Brady, and it helps that they're catching the 4.5. Now, I haven't put a lot on it like I normally would have on a Super Bowl bet, because I'm guessing that if any more action comes in, it might be on the favorites, on the Rams. So I'm thinking it might. I mean, I don't know that. It's all speculation. But I guess I'm kind of hoping it might go to 5 or 5.5, and maybe I'd buy a half point to 6, which I consider a key number, like 3 and 7. But right now I'm on the Bengals for a little bit, not a lot. And that's what I'm thinking. Just part of my reasoning is just my trust of Joe Burrow. And then also they've thrived as underdogs 11 times, 8-3 against the spread with 7 outright wins. And I think we've got the quarterback advantage with Burrow over Stafford. Now, and look, I mean, I've always liked Stafford, but he has a tendency to throw interceptions. He did not do that in the first 2 games of the playoffs. And he should have had that really costly one that might have cost him the game in the fourth quarter against the Niners, but the Niners guy Munsoned it. So yeah, I'm on the Bengals, not a huge play yet. And curious to see which way the line goes. And right now, I don't have any real opinion on the total.
Yeah, it's fascinating because, when we look at line movement, it usually doesn't take as much because we're looking at 16 games, on any given Sunday, whatever, 14 games, 13 games, whatever, with primetime games. But with the Super Bowl, there's only one game. So it's going to take a massive, massive amount of money to move this one way or the other. I think it'll go somewhere, but I think we probably end up right where we're at. Right? Like, I think it's gonna end at 4.5, maybe 4. I don't see it ending at 5. I think it ends 4.5 or even 4. So, for me, I still don't have a play on the spread or the total. I do like the first half under 23.5. I did some numbers here, taking a look, and we'll break these more down when we jump into prop bets. But, the last 7 Super Bowls, all right, the average total points scored was 47. The average amount of punts was 8.7. Now, I'll go into all that here in just a second. But what I noticed is that the scoring in Super Bowls, it's about 54% in the second half of the game. All right. First half is generally around 46%. An average amount of touchdowns in the first half, 2.5. Okay. Now, here's where I found some interesting numbers. The winning team, all right, the average amount of pass attempts is 40.8. Loser around 35, 36. All right. But you look at the amount of plays. The winning team in the Super Bowl on average over the last 7 years has 68.5 plays comparatively to the losing team at 56.5. So that, like, really, that's where I've kind of found the value. And like I said, these are just numbers that you're hearing right now, but we're going to apply them and we're going to jump into prop bets right now. The first one that I'm playing is the game over 6.5 punts. Okay. Now, I know that we talked about, I've got Jamar Chase for an anytime TD. I've got Odell Beckham for an anytime TD. We broke these down on Tuesday. Another one that I had, Odell Beckham, his longest reception, over 23.5 yards. So that catches you up kind of to where we were on Tuesday. These are the ones that I've added. First one, total punts over 6.5. Like I just said, the average amount of punts was 8.7 over the last 7 Super Bowls. And a lot of them went over 10. Like, we see a lot of punts. Another one. All right, I went through the opening drive for all 14 teams, okay, over the last 7 Super Bowls. Here's how they ended up. 9 punts, 4 field goals, and 1 Tom Brady interception. 0 touchdowns. So if you're out there looking at first drive prop bets on each team, you're going to find value there, field goals, punts. Like, there's money to be made. I haven't played any just yet. Joe Burrow, over 36.5 pass attempts. I think we're in a game script to where he's going to throw. We saw first down runs from the Bengals against the Chiefs. They moved out of that about the middle of the third quarter. I think they're going to have to move out of that in about the second quarter against the Rams defense. Like, we're going to get Burrow putting up pass attempts. And even when they were first down run against the Chiefs,
Second and nine,
and he had 38 pass attempts. Like, I don't think that they're going to have the same amount of runs and run attempts that they did against the Chiefs. Last two, I'm going to go Matthew Stafford over 280.5 passing yards. I'm also going to go, and here's an interesting one. The team that makes the shortest field goal in the game, going with the Rams, minus 115. And yes, I think the Bengals have the better kicker, but I think he's going to be boosting longer field goals. I can see the Rams getting super conservative inside the red zone to where the Bengals are like, screw it. Like, we're not supposed to be here. Like, we're pushing this. You know what I mean? So Rams shortest field goal, minus 115. All right. Kick it to you, buddy. What do you got?
Yeah. So I know I brought up Evan McPherson, the kicker for Cincinnati on Tuesday. So I did look up his odds. So I've seen him as long as 150-1, but unfortunately, my accounts usually go off offshore lines, and so 33-1 is the best I can get, which is just horrible comparing it to 150-1. But for those in legit gambling states such as yourself in Tennessee, I would imagine you're going to be, and I'm sorry, I should have looked up what it is at BetMGM, but our great friends at BetMGM, but y'all probably have better odds than I can get. But I think he's got a great shot at it. You know, I think in the Titans game, if they had an MVP of that AFC semifinal, I think he would have gotten it with a 52-yard walk-off, a 54-yarder, and 4 for 4 on field goals in a 19-16 game. Maybe he would have got it last week too with a game winner and another one from 50+, and he is 12 for 12 on field goals in the playoffs, including 5 for 5 beyond 40 yards. Now you would need for him to win it. Obviously, he's going to have to probably kick a walk-off game winner, which he's done in the last 2 games. And he would probably need it to be a under-ish type of game. Burrow not having 3 touchdowns, Jamar Chase not having multiple touchdowns. That would and again, no kicker in NFL or in Super Bowl history has ever won MVP. So I'm not implying you put more than $10 or $20 on it, but it's such a good payout. I think it's worth a shot. So that's the one prop that I like. For a small
I like it. Yeah, I like it. I'm looking it up right here. All right. Ed McPherson plus 7,500. Plus
75
7,500.
one's better than 33.
Yeah, it is. Now, it's fascinating you brought that up. I think that if you're betting on the Bengals to outright win the game, I would certainly sprinkle on that. What I will say is this, though. If you're betting on the Bengals to outright win, okay, you're going to be looking at a money line of what? Plus 170, something around there. All right. Joe Burrow to win MVP is plus 220. Like, unless McPherson goes just absolutely crazy, and it would have to be like, I think it would have to be a game winner and like 5 made field goals or 4 made. Like, it would have to be something crazy. Yeah. Barring that, if the Bengals win this game, you might as well bet Joe Burrow because first off, they're not going to do it on the ground. They're not going to have like a 200-yard rusher against that defense, right? Now, Jamar Chase might go off. T. Higgins might go off. Tyler Boyd might go off. But Joe Burrow's delivering those passes. Like, they will give the MVP to Joe Burrow if the Bengals win. The Rams, good luck. They've got all kinds of different ways that it could go. They could give it to Aaron Donald if the guy has like 6 sacks. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different ways. So long story short, what I'm saying is if you're betting on the Bengals to outright win that game, you might as well bet Joe Burrow plus 220. You're going to get much better odds than you would, money line. You could parlay it. You could do it, separate, whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, if you're betting on that, there's no reason to not get on Joe Burrow winning MVP.
I agree with that premise. And just as an example, like the last 5 Super Bowls, it's been Brady, Mahomes. There was one exception to quarterback. Then it was Foles. Then it was Brady. There was an exception to quarterback. Then it was Brady. It's been Flacco, Eli, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. I mean, there have been exceptions like Santonio Holmes making that great catch against Arizona on his fingertips to win the game, like with how many seconds were left.
Yeah.
Edelman got it against, was that against my Falcon? No, that was in the Rams game, wasn't it? The 13-3 game.
Yeah. That was Rams where he made the fingertips grab. Yeah.
Right. And we've had a few defensive players here and there, but to your point, 90% of the time, it's going to be the quarterback for the winning team.
Yeah, and especially the season that this kid has had, right? Like, I mean, he's just a marketing dream for it. So, again, like, it could be somebody else. And I like the McPherson sprinkle. I would definitely do that, if you're betting on the Bengals to win, for sure. Like, it would be dumb not to at 7,700. But, yeah, you're going to get value there. All right, so real quick, before we get into basketball, I just want to give some of these stats that I found. And, again, you know me, man. Like, I'm usually, like, the Nuggets guy. Like, I love throwing these things out on Twitter, on the show of, like, hey – all kinds of just different stats, stuff like that. I'm not doing it this time because there's so many out there on both sides that you could pick and choose, and it just messes with people's heads. It messes with my head, right? Like, I don't want to do that to you, but what I will do is just good, hard, found, dug information. Like, this stuff will help. So like I said, I went through the last 7 straight Super Bowls, all right? Average total points scored, 47. Average punts in each game, 8.7. The average amount of field goals made, 3.1. I thought it'd be higher than that.
And what's that total on the field goals?
3.1.
Do you know what the total is for this game?
No, I don't.
Okay, my bad.
It's going to be around there. I think each kicker's listed at 1.5 field goals. So yeah, man, like the field goal numbers were lower than I thought, and that's including some pretty tight games. All right. Average interceptions, and I'll stop here and we'll get to college basketball. Average interceptions in each Super Bowl game, 2.1. And in the last 7, 5 of those, both quarterbacks threw an interception in the game. So take a look there. Now, you're going to see, I think Matthew Stafford to throw an interception is minus 150. Like, it's pretty high. Joe Burrow, I think, is around minus 125, somewhere around there. You're going to find much, value on Burrow if you do go the interceptions route. But yeah, just some information, man. I just wanted to put that out there. All right, basketball. We've got tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. We've got all kinds of different games that are going on. Now, like we always say, you can only really kind of look at today and tonight. We won't get our lines until way late tonight. But I want to know what you're looking at. What are you betting, both college and NFL? And before you do, I am absolutely on the Richmond Spiders -3 tonight at home against St. Bonaventure, who's 27% against the spread this year. I think Richmond puts it on them. What do you got, man?
All right. Before I get to tonight, I will say tomorrow's college hoops card is loaded, like probably the best card of the year. All sorts of great games. Okay, I have 3 plays in the NBA tonight. Let's start off with over 218.5 on Atlanta at Toronto. The over is on a 12-7 run for Atlanta, and tonight's total is going to be the 6th lowest during that 19-game stretch. And some of the combined scores during this 19-game stretch: 250, 225, 256, 235, 225, 242, 252, 267, 239, 248, 248, and last night 239 versus Phoenix. So it's a low total for Atlanta standards right now, especially with the way the offense is going a lot better here. The over's on a 5-2 run for Toronto. So now they played on Monday and they had a pretty low scoring game, but Trae Young didn't play. So obviously when Trae Young doesn't play, Atlanta's offense is not going to be nearly as effective. So I like it over 218.5. Atlanta at Toronto. John Collins hurt his shoulder last night. He's questionable. So I haven't decided I'm playing Atlanta yet. If he gets upgraded, I'm certainly not against the Hawks tonight. They have won 8 in a row, both straight up and against the spread, with Trae Young in the lineup. They ended Phoenix's 11-game winning streak last night. Now, again, they lost to Toronto on Monday, but that was without Trae, and that also gives them a little revenge angle. Now, it is back-to-back spots for both teams, but again, it's both teams. Now, Atlanta did have to travel, so I would say it's slight advantage Toronto, but maybe the revenge angle cancels that out. So I lean Hawks if John Collins plays. All right, let's go under 224.5 on New Orleans at Denver. The under's on a 10-3 run for the Pelicans. In this head-to-head rivalry, the under's on an 8-2 run. They played twice this year. The most recent meeting had 221 combined, so it barely went under 222.5, and that's under what we got tonight in the 224.5 range. The first meeting, Denver won 120-114, but it went into overtime at New Orleans, and there were 24 points in OT. So the score at the end of regulation was only 210 combined. So both meetings this year have gone under. 8 of the last 10 in this rivalry. 10-3 run for the Pelicans, and it's 10-3 run for the Pelicans. The last 4 have gone under for New Orleans, and those scores have been 212, 180. Sorry, start over. 212, 183, 204, and 221. So 3 of them never even anywhere near this 224-ish total. All right, last play. So about an hour ago, I plugged in Oklahoma City +8 at Portland. About 20 minutes after that, Portland pulled a trade. They're trading Norman Powell and Covington, and the guys they're getting back are like Bledsoe, some other guys. I think it's an awful trade for Portland. It must be with Dillard out or Damian Lillard out, they must be just kind of going into tank rebuild mode. But
yeah, it feels like cutting out of that luxury tax. Yeah.
So it's not a good trade. And look, definitely Norman Powell's probably their 3rd leading scorer, I would think, behind McCollum and Lillard. He's gone, and yet the line's only changed 1.5 points. So I liked OKC at +8. I think I like it OKC +6.5 even better with Norman Powell and Covington out. Now, part of it though a lot of it is OKC playing well. Now, their best player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, got hurt last week. They've played 2 games since then. They've won outright in both of them, and the reason why is Trey Mann The rookie out of Florida is getting more playing time, and he's responded. He had a career-high 29 points on Wednesday when they beat the Mavericks, and he had 13 in the previous game, so 42 total in the last 2 games. And look, Portland's favored by 6.5, but they've lost 3 in a row and 5 of its last 6. OKC's won back-to-back, like I said. And they even in the games before the back-to-back wins, they lost by 3 to the Pacers in overtime, lost by 1 to the Bulls. I mean, obviously those would be covers catching 6.5. And OKC is 16-9 against the spread in 25 road games this year. All right, just a couple of quick injury news for our listeners that are looking at other NBA games tonight. James Harden is out for Brooklyn at Utah. Donovan Mitchell is finally back for the Jazz. He's been out since the 17th of January. Gallinari is out for the Hawks, if I didn't say that already. Cade Cunningham, the top pick in the draft, the rookie for the Pistons, he's out at home against the Celtics. And who was it that I saw? Oh, gosh, darn it. I'm shooting a blank. Zach LaVine's questionable for the Bulls. All right, college. I only have one play. And let's see. Let me get it here. It's an under in a low major game, but it's thoroughly researched. All right, so Monmouth and Fairfield. I know everybody's tuning in for that at 7 p.m. Eastern.
You throw the record books out when Monmouth.
Throw the record books out when Monmouth and Fairfield get together on a Friday night in New Jersey. That's right, Alan. Okay, I'm going under 134. The under is on a 13-3 run for Monmouth, and one of the overs was only over because they went to overtime. The under is also hit in 7 straight in this rivalry and 9 of the last 10, including when they played on January 20th, when Monmouth won 61-58 for only 119 combined points, which would be well under the 134 we've got here. So under on Monmouth and Fairfield, and that'll do it. 4 plays. OKC, the over on the Hawks Toronto, the under on what's my other under game? I should know this, right? Oh, Denver, New Orleans. Sorry. And then Monmouth and Fairfield under. There we go.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you real quick. While you were speaking about college, can we flip it to college football very quickly?
Sure.
This situation at Auburn with Brian Harsin. What the hell is going on over there? Like I've read, a decent amount here. Like I've got kind of an idea, but not a great idea. Dude, break this down, man. What are they going to be looking for a new head coach soon?
Sounds like it. And I don't know if it has to do with what all of us that have been on Twitter today have seen. I don't know if there's merit to any of that. And we don't delve into rumors here on the A to Z Sports Pick Show. We'll just let everybody look into all that how they want. But from what I've been told, more than anything, it's that 20 players have bolted since the end of the regular season. 5 assistants have bolted. And there's just a lot out there about, him not being a face in the community, which is so big at Auburn and their little weirdo place. He's not out in the community much. And, he didn't have any recruiting relationships. He came from the Northwest. And just a lot of, high school coaches haven't met him yet, et cetera. So I think he's going to be out, which makes for a fascinating hire this time of year. I call it the John L. Smith hiring season. From our listeners not familiar, when Petrino had all his shenanigans, they hired John L. Smith because he was on the staff and had been a head coach at Michigan State and Louisville, and that was a disaster. But fascinating time of year to be looking for a head coach, and I think he is going to get fired, perhaps as early as today. And wow, I know 2 names that are out there that'll probably come up is maybe Dan Mullen, maybe Oscar Lyer. Oscar Lyer, he wants to get his good name back after having his sanity and his brains beat out in the NFL.
Could you imagine Auburn them firing a coach with cause and then bringing in Urban Meyer?
Oh, their fans would just celebrate. It'd be the biggest airport party, the best one they've had since Bruce Pearl got there.
I love it, man. I appreciate that. And keep us updated on that, man, because that's a wild situation.
Yeah, it is.
For sure. All right. Last segment here in the show. All right. Again, we're talking about building the perfect parlay. Now, you could have something that's parlayed just today, this weekend, or just for the Super Bowl. All right. And mine is just for the Super Bowl. Here's what I've got. Okay. I feel good about it. And it's a nice number. Plus 550. Cooper Kupp, anytime TD. Jamar Chase, anytime TD. Odell Beckham, longest reception, over 23.5 yards. 3 legs, plus 550. Let's rip it. What do you got?
I like that one too. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Can you do same game parlays and a prop?
It depends on your book. They limit what props that you can use.
Like
right?
You probably can't do like a Bengals money line along with a Bengals player getting a MVP, or I wouldn't think.
Yeah, it depends on the book, man. Like, because they're still putting them there, and I've been looking not only at BetMGM but at Caesars. You know, I go across the board, right? They're all kind of different at what they offer. So take a look. You know, put out what you've got. Like what's in your head here. You know, we all want to hear it, and if we can't put it in, we can't put it in.
Right.
But I still want to hear what you got, because it might be something that we just play on the side.
Well, actually, I was just asking that as I was thinking about it, but I want to do an NBA money line parlay tonight. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Boston on the money line at Detroit. I mentioned Cade Cunningham being out. Boston's playing pretty good right now. With James Harden out for Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's lost 4 in a row anyway, and Kevin Durant is still out. Joe Harris is still out. And Donovan Mitchell's coming back. The Jazz have been slumping, but they got Donovan Mitchell back tonight. Let's go Jazz money line parlay. Excuse me. That shouldn't be that expensive because they're minus 5.5. So probably minus 200 or so. And then let's also go with Denver. They are at home to New Orleans. So Denver, Utah, and Boston. And I would think, I'm just guessing, I'm sorry I didn't do that in the parlay calculator. I would think it'd be getting like at least plus 150 back, maybe as high as probably not plus 200, but I would think in the plus 150, plus 180 range. 3 money line favorites in the NBA tonight. Let's go Boston, let's go Utah, and let's go Denver.
Boston, Utah, and Denver, right?
Yep.
All right, let's see. I got you right here. Yep, plus 147.
All right.
Yep, there you go.
That'll work.
I like it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next week, Super Bowl edition, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central, Friday, 2 p.m. Central, and we will have all kinds of bets and props and spreads and totals and everything that you need, not to mention college basketball and the NBA as well. So make sure, tune into those, and we'll get together all of our picks and be ready to set. So, Brian, thank you so much, buddy. Have a good weekend. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Let's cash some tickets.